Alright, well, I've been working hard on the Model T snowmobile. As you can see, it's pretty much down to the bare frame. The only thing left is the front axle. The cab and the engine and transmission were very easy to pull. My boss came over and we pulled the cab off of it. What was a pain was the rear end. The shackles were just absolutely frozen in the hangers and the springs, so that took a lot of heat and a lot of pounding with a hammer to get those out, but they didn't get ruined, so I can put those back. I got some front ends out. The plan is to weld the kingpins on one of these and use it as the idler axle for the tracks. So I might even use the front axle out of the truck itself. I believe it is in the worst shape as far as kingpin play goes, so that'd be a good one just to weld and put one of those up front. But did make quite a bit of progress. The downside is the rear end. It's a Hall Scott 2-speed, so pre-ruckstell. I could feel a lot of backlash in the pinion, and the outer axle bearings had a lot of play, so I decided to split it, pulled it all apart, and the ring gear is just about smoked. There's not much left of it. Every bearing in it is junk. One of the pinion bearings actually came out in pieces. The outer axle bearings, they are worn, but what's actually more worn are the axle shafts themselves. So this thing needs a complete rebuild, and parts are not the cheapest. So what I ended up doing is I have a handful of 2-speeds. I had more Hall Scotts than I thought, but I pulled them all inside, and I split a couple of them, and they're all about in the same condition, except for this one. This one was actually in a Chevy Doodlebug, and it's not terrible. So my plan is, kind of stinks. They welded this collar to the shaft, and they welded the shaft to this collar. But I gotta shorten the torque tube and drive shaft anyway, so I'll figure that out. They had the spring hangers turned 90 degrees and welded, and had another support like this bar right here bolted to the frame. So I had to cut those welds, and the hangers on this axle, this diameter, this ID was actually a lot smaller. So these are off the original Hall Scott. And this is the only one that actually had brakes in it, and the only one where the brakes weren't soaked with oil. So I cleaned up the brakes. I need one shoe. I gotta order a shoe for it, throw this thing back together. I already took most of this stuff apart, cleaned it up, never seized it. Ran some diesel through the case. There was actually oil in it, no water, surprisingly. The grease cups for the outer bearings are from the original Hall Scott. The grease cups on this were pre-broken off for me, and surprisingly I was able to get them out, so that was good. So just a little bit of heat and a couple days of spraying. But the drive shaft, I don't know if I saved it or not. The drive shaft and torque tube, getting them off the original rear end, was probably about a day adventure on and off. The pins, you can see I ended up drilling them out, but they were just about welded in there. And I have the shaft on the bench over here, and you can see the collar is still on the pinion shaft. So I'm gonna try to make, I've heated it, I've tried a lot of stuff and I can't get it to come off, so I'm hoping to make a couple collars to slide in that groove that maybe will hold it. I could put it in the press, but we'll see. There's the cab. Haven't done anything to it yet, but got on the table, start formulating a plan about making some pieces. A friend of a friend has the back of a cab that I should be getting pretty soon, so that'll be nice to get mocked up there and start formulating a plan on a roof. The other day I brought in the engine I think I'm going to use. It is a Model A engine. It's been sitting in a storage container out back for well over a year, upside down, covered up. So I have some hit and miss engines and stuff in there. But this thing I bought from a friend quite a while ago. I pulled the oil pan off right away. I pulled, I believe, every main bearing cap off, and the bearings looked very good. And the cylinders are pretty tight. So I haven't spun it over since it's been in here. I don't know if it might be stuck now or a couple stuck valves, but so my plan is right now is to put the Model A motor in it. And I have this 4-speed transmission with a PTO. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the PTO. I thought maybe if I can find an old school winch or something to put on it, but we'll see how that goes. So I do have everything to put this engine together, and I do have a exhaust manifold heater. I have a couple of them. I forget what brand they are, but I think I'm going to try to run that first before I run, a heater core in the cab or something like that. Try to be a little more period correct. But I have this core engine and tranny over here, and I did put that in the chassis when I had the cab on, and I'm definitely going to have to shorten the drive shaft and torque tube quite a bit, but I have one that's already cut, so I don't have to cut up the original one, which is nice. So it'll be a tight fit, but I believe it will fit. Putting wrong motors in different chassis isn't new to me, so I think this is just the better way to go for me right now. And I will put the other Model T motor in another chassis I have, and I recently picked up a full wood cab for a TT truck, so those will go good together. And probably make a tow truck out of it, but we'll see. Project's always changing, but there's an update.